Hello, everyone, and welcome to M1P Podcast. I will soon start the show. Bear with me. It's a friend of mine that does this music. So if you guys like the music, dance along. I mean, hey, jazz.
Dude, stop trying to play guitar solos using scales. And no, this isn't hype. This isn't a joke.
Yeah. welcome everyone. And yes, hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of N1P Podcasts. It's episode 16, and I'm very happy that I came to this point doing these podcasts every Friday, every weekend, or every week. Um, and I'm very happy that many people like the show and the positive response I've got from everyone that has been joining the stream, been a part of this, Pan African movement on Discord, etc. I will put up a link for Discord. I know that the invite links um, are only there for 7 days, and then after that, it goes away. So I will put that in the description box or within. I'll put it there so people can see. Yep. And also we have the link from the StreamYard. If anyone want to come in and join, they are more than welcome to come and join us today on this N1P podcast evening. I'll say hi and welcome everyone to this episode. And I want to say thank you for turning in or tuning in to this episode. Last episode that we had, something happened to the video. It must have been some copyright issues. Yeah. But I always say in the videos that I'm doing this for educational purposes. So hopefully I can redeem that clip again. And hopefully I will put that one up again because it was a very good YouTube clip that I did for all of you that attended. And the discussion that we had was also very profound. So it must come up again and it will come up again. Um, yeah, YouTube decided to cancel my show for that day. I'm not sure why. It might be for copyright issues. Showing clips from History Channel can hit the algorithm, and they don't want that to happen. So yeah, very sad that that did not come about, but I will redeem it hopefully as soon as possible. And I also want to say thank you everyone that has been contributing to the movement itself. I do have a Cash App as well for the purpose of gaining funds from anyone that wants to actually help me on this struggle towards um, total emancipation. Let me see. Write this and go back. Yeah, I think it's. Let me just go back and see the name on my Cash App. And I'll put this one up as well on the link. Let's see. Yeah, let me see here. Let me go back to my accounts. See, yeah, so that's the one. So if you guys want to help me in the cause, please help me on the Cash App. Send any type of funds that you think you can help me with. Today is going to be a very fun day because we're going to discuss certain issues that are very important for us to do. As I always do, I have around 3 or more topics to speak about. I will run through them now very quick because we are late scheduled. So the first thing we will talk about, first topic will be news coming from Africa. After that will be some history on traditional economies. I might just go into global economy and new global economy and what's going on right now. I have some friends that are willing to come in and speak a little bit more about traditional African traditional economy, and that will come up later on in this evening, hopefully, if my friend turns up. If not, then yeah, it's okay, no worries. And also, I will also tell you that I have another great friend of mine is quite famous around the world. I will put him in open basket session. I'm not sure exactly which session he will come, but yeah, keep your eyes and ears open for that. And the third part will be talking about ancient and new innovations. So first of these topics will be, as we said, um, news coming from Africa. And after that, we will one by one go through everything we were supposed to go through today. And yeah, so hold your hats. We're going in for a ride. Yay. So today we'll discuss news coming from Africa. One of the topics here is about news, and today we see something coming out of router, and they are saying it's our son. So the rural South African seeks greater gains from clean energy. So yeah, it's article here speaking about renewable energies. Yeah, it's a little bit of a topic that I want to speak about more. I want to speak about, everything that we can do by just using, yeah, what Earth has to give us, especially in Africa, as it has most sun hours on Earth. I think it's time for Africa to use the powers of the universe to become more self-sustainable and stop relying on certain things that they shouldn't actually rely on. Yeah, so they are searching for, so the rural South African seeks greater gains in clean energy. As South Africa plans to cut its reliance on coal, it is backing green power production at the community level. But locals are seeking more employment and financial benefits. I do understand that, most definitely. We do need more jobs, more factories, more investments, foreign direct investments through the diaspora, as I've always said. So South Africa has seen as a poster child for just transition, community trust set up to channel energy and profits to locals, power cuts and low-skilled short-term job fuels also frustration. And this is from Kim Harrisberg. I want to also tell you, everyone that are on this channel, this is for educational purposes. We are streaming this for educational purposes, if you did not hear me first time. So that people know what this is all about. So they are from South Africa, March 28th, from Router. The grassy greens and browns of South Africa's semi-desert Karoo region are fast becoming dotted with flashes of silver and white as solar and wind farms spring up across the vast sun-soaked land in northern Cape Province. Let me just go back to and continue. Yes. But nearby communities where unemployment and drugs and other uses are persistent problem, says that even as profit trickles into their towns, more can be done to distribute fair and benefits from the renewable energy they believe belong to them. There was an excitement when we saw the solar panels being built, said Rose Bailey, and also a social worker in Darar, a town of about 24,000 inhabitants between Kimberley and Cape Town. We thought it would be bringing employment and electricity to our homes, but we are also still struggling. We still have power cuts, said Bailey, at the charity where she works with abused women and children. Climate policies and experts are looking to South Africa, Africa's biggest carbon emitter, as the poster child for developing nations seeking to shift from fossil fuels to green energy in a way that reduces poverty for all, a so-called just transition. At November UN Climate Summit, rich nations pledged to provide around $8.5 billion in funding to help South Africa move away from coal, the dirtiest planet's heating fossil fuel. The country remains heavily reliant on coal, but also already has in place a decade-old program that procures clean energy from independent power producers, IPPs, to feed into the national grid while aiming to empower local communities. That's what we need to do. We need to empower local communities. To win a 20-year contract from the Department of Energy, private sector's bidders must also meet social criteria, including giving communities a 25% or 2.5% to 5% stake in the project, with most setting up trust to channel income where it is most needed. But South Africa's financial research house Inteldex recently found that IPP shared dividends for communities have so far been spent largely on paying back loans to development finance institutions that enabled the trusts to buy their shares in the first place. The report also calls for less onerous repayment terms and new ways to open up opportunities for fundraising and investments. It also highlights the need for community members to be heard both within the trusts and the IPP managements. It also comes down to the dignity of people, said Leon, a trustee of Umlilu Community Trust and a resident at DR, one of the first towns to welcome the IPPs. They need to be partners, not just on the receiving end of charity. Yeah. So power cuts. So the trustee there said that some community members feel frustrated and short-charged by the IPP model. They have been saying, this is our son, because they have not seen the change they thought the world will see. The inhabitants in that area are shocked. They are still left in the dark by frequent load shedding, despite living next to wind and solar farms. When the power cuts out, so does also the internet, says social worker Bailey. But she has also mixed feelings and is grateful for the IPPs have come to her once sleepy farm town, not least because they partly or partially fund the actual charity where she works. Getting things up and running can be painstaking and also slow process. So I can also understand the community's frustration, she said. Going further, we're talking about dignity and the municipalities is the banking on its large open spaces and ever present sunshines to draw in more IPPs to help pull large numbers of people out of poverty. To us, our minerals assets is the sun, said Mzengana at his office in Darar municipality building. If a town can be changed through mining, then we can also change our towns through renewables. It was a missed opportunity, says Zengana. More money should be flowing into the R. What we need is businesses, industries, jobs, not just soup kitchens. If that happens, charity will no longer be needed, said Zibona, a trust share in Gabriel. We need to generate a local economy, even if we make mistakes along the way, because community involvement means dignity for Africans and South Africans in the long term, she said. They said $1 equals to 15 rands. Quite strong, anyways. It's really strong currency South Africa has compared to other African nations. Their currency is quite strong. And we can see that there's a lot of things coming from South Africa when it comes to renewable energy because they are really wanting to do this so that Africa can grow. Yeah. Now we're going to discuss a little bit about AIs and technology on AIs. And a Swedish company, AI fund called SAFE, an NGO providing financial aid and grants to scholarships to AI projects, has announced a new fund targeting AI startups in Africa. The 96,000 euros SAFE fund will also support startups working research and or involved in the AI industry towards equality, safety, and security in the fields of AI. The AI Media Group is the primary launch partner for SAFE in Africa, along with launch partners AWS, NVIDIA, Telcom, Embassy of Switzerland, SA, Zindi, Cirrus, AI, and AIC Kenya. This fund is available in different forms in limited amounts for specific purposes, typically 10,000 euros to 15,000 euros awarded as a non-equity micro seed grant by SIFE network partners. Each year, the board of trustees at Swedish AI Fund, SIFE, will decide the amount and how to make this fund available to a specific group of organizations, institutions, and universities. Interested startups can apply for the fund through SIFE's official partners and for an initial Africa funding call. This is a this is a via this is via the AI Media Group. We are also seeking to fund companies based in Africa, primarily at pre-seed stage, who have developed solutions and services that leverage AI. The company also said in a statement that the SIFE is one of the projects launched by the AI Center Sweden and a collaboration between several legal entities and experts towards a common goal: inequality, safety, and security in the AI industry. The AI Center started in Sweden and it works internationally with different types of partnerships globally. In Sweden, it is also cooperating with universities, leading companies, and experts from the United Nations, UN, and the European AI Alliance. SIFE also has international partnerships with the Swedish Chamber of Commerce in different countries and several recognizable organizations and associations in different parts of the globe. Yeah. And this here is a fund that SIFE has for NGOs and also financial aids for scholarships and AI projects. So there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of people who are betting for Africa to get into these new technologies so that we can be in the forefront of that and help people that are in a little bit of a troubling situation and put them into a new job with a new industry coming up. This is what we need. We need this. We need new industries. We need people to come in and fund uh, people that want to work, and give them the proper knowledge and education so that they can actually do the proper work on the ground. Yes, and now up to another news coming from Africa, but is also a task force that United States has come with a task force, um, a task foreign journalists on exposing corruption in public officials. It is on the. Let me see what this is. Put it there. It's on thisdailylive.com. I will put this in the description or in the comment box if you guys are very interested into that. Talking about U.S. Task Force, the task foreign journalists on exposing corruption around the world. And this is what we need. We need a task force that goes out to these countries, a journalistic task force, to actually, expose what's going on so that people can understand what's going on in Africa and that Africans also become more knowledgeable of what is going on. So the United States of America has tasked journalists from around the world to join in the efforts to eradicate corruption globally by exposing corrupt individuals, particularly public officers or office holders in their countries. This is a This is an article that was written by Alex Anuma. He lives in Abuja in Nigeria. So you guys can, if you want to, the link is up there. If you guys want to check it out, you are more than welcome to check that one out. It is very important for Africans to understand these things so that we can, once and for all, stop these corrupt leaders. Because it's becoming a common culture in Africa, and we need to stop that. We need to stop these things and let people understand that we need their help to stop these corrupt individuals. Now we're also going to talk about a little bit about tech again, and we're going to talk about Innoson. Innoson is a vehicle company coming from Nigeria, actually. It's a vehicle company that is set to establish new manufacturing plants in Owerri in Nigeria to produce 60,000 vehicles annually, every year. The indigenous automobile manufacturer Innoson Vehicle Manufacturing IVM company has, as part of its expansion drive, announced plans to establish another manufacturing plant in Owerri in Nigeria. The current expansion efforts by the Innoson Group is to actualize its mission to become a giant in vehicle manufacturing in Africa by serving the country's and continent's vehicles needs. This was also made known by chairman of the Innoson Group, Chief Innoson himself, Shukwuma. Sorry for pronouncing your name that bad. I'm so sorry. I'm not so good at pronouncing names. Anyways, when he received the members of the correspondence chapter on a facility tour of his plant in Newi in Nigeria, Shukugwama or Innoson, who noted that the group have already acquired about 150,000 square meters of land for this project. Apprentices and the media for the continuous support and also partnership with his organization. He said Innoson factory expansion will be situated at Naziweri in Nigeria. We have already acquired around 150,000 square meters of land for this project. Speaking at the occasion, the head corporate communications Innoson Group, M. Cornell, expressed the excitement of the government or the governor, Charlie, the endorsement of Innoson vehicles as the official vehicle for the Anambra State, which also shows the durability and capacity of the made in Nigeria vehicle. The governor himself is the first governor to use Innoson vehicles as official vehicles, and we also are hopeful that such endorsement will increase patronage from the state governors, corporate institutions and organizations, and other well-meaning Nigerians, and also Africans. Hopefully it will become multinational corporation that goes throughout Africa. We need this, an African-born, car manufacturer. Innoson is also set to produce 60,000 vehicles annually. Ozigwe said that the group will increase its vehicle manufacturing capacity from 10,000 vehicles annually to 60,000 vehicles annually after migrating from manual production plants to a fully automated production plant. He said that manual production plant has the capacity to produce about 10,000 vehicles annually, but at the completion of the migration to a fully automated production plant, it will also have the capacity to produce about 60,000 annually. What everyone should know is that Innocent Vehicle, a manufacturing company limited, commonly shorted as IVM, is a Nigerian automobile manufacturer headquartered in Anambra and was founded by the chief Innocent himself, Chukwuma Nwala. Innocent Vehicle manufacturing is regarded as the largest indigenous automobile manufacturing firm and produces 70% of their car parts locally, while the rest is sourced from Japan, China, Germany, and America. The newly sworn in governor of Anambra State, Shirley, became the first Nigerian state governor to use Innoson vehicles as official cars. This is profound. This is very good. This is what we need. Africa needs this. And I'm very happy that we do have it now. We have an indigenous vehicle manufacturing company. It's nowhere else in Africa. So this is the first step, and this is what we need. And we need people to understand and that these things are very important for us to understand. In order for us to understand where we want to go in the future, we need to understand also the importance of indigenous production. So we need to produce more, manufacture more, build more factories, and refine the resources that we have in Africa, which is in abundance. I will also share another clip here. This is a topic that has to do with history and traditions, and it comes from channel study of antiquity and the Middle Ages. I will use a little bit of his clip to just sum up what Dr. Kennedy, her name is, speaks about when it comes to North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, and that there actually was no such thing as a Sub-Saharan African. So we can jump into that. Hopefully we won't cause any problems. Well, let's see. This is for educational purposes. So let's see if this works. Let's go back here. Yeah. And here she goes through a little bit. So I'm not gonna have just a couple of minutes. Let her speak about this, and then we can wrap it up with something new.
But also the people that we refer to now as either Nubians or Cushites. Those were also called Ethiopians by our Greek sources, and they were in Egypt and they controlled Egypt for various times. And we actually have a lot of evidence, if you put Egypt into its African context in antiquity.
That is what we need. So if there is an historian speaking about this, they need to put this into the perspective of us Africans as well. We can't, always juggle around these topics and, let people take control of, our ancient past. It needs to be someone that speaks truth into existence. Please.
Its vision is not to the north, right? It looks to the Nile and to what we would call south, right?
So when people speak about the Upper Nile, or and north and south, Egypt had a different concept of north and south. So the Upper Nile was where the stream came from. So the Upper Nile is where the stream came from, and the Lower Nile is where the delta is today. So when the Egyptians looked towards something, they looked towards the Upper Nile, which is the birthplace of Egypt itself. So south of Egypt, down to Sudan, etc., all the way down to Blue Nile and Lake Victoria.
To the Upper Nile, the Upper Egypt, and in fact, the cult of Isis is actually integrated across the what we would consider the two separate kingdoms of Egypt and Nubia in antiquity, but their worship of Isis is almost identical, and they are integrated and looking to each other as early as the second millennium BCE. So we really just need to not think about this separation, which isn't even a modern separation, right? This idea of sub-Saharan is a modern racist trope.
You see that? Did you guys hear that? It's a modern racist trope. It does not actually exist. So guys, be clear on that when you describe Africa as, or when you describe Africa. Please do not say sub-Saharan Africa. It's all one.
That there is a magic dividing line, and it is a modern racist trope that develops back from, I'm thinking I should do an Ngram, Google Ngram, just to see when the term sub-Saharan first pops up in books, right? Because one of the things you can always tell is when things start to get hot and when they're not. But if you look at someone like Cuvier, who was one of the early scientists dealing with race back at sort of the turn of the 18th to 19th century, so 1801, 1802 or so. He's the guy who got Sarah Bartman's body after she died, the Hottentot Venus, and had it stuffed and had her genitals and things preserved for study. He makes clear comments about how taking the heads of mummies, which they were sort of just getting at this time out of Egypt, and her dead body and her face, and putting them together. And so here's this like 6,000 or 4,000 year old mummified head, which clearly is not in its original form, right? With her body, a model made of her, and says, look, it's very clear from looking at these two that regardless of whatever their skin color was, they're clearly different races. Because their heads are different, because he was a craniometry guy. So if you sort of think about when is this obsession with sub-Saharan kicking in, it's kicking in when we're trying to, in a period of time where we're trying to separate off Egyptian, so these these ancient kingdoms that are being discovered by modern Europeans, and the sort of Black South. And actually, I'm looking at a Google Ngram right here that goes back to 1800. Up to 2008. I'm going to smooth it out here a little bit more. And the term doesn't start to appear in books anyway, in the English language, until roughly 1978. So
yeah, so you see, guys, that the concept of racism itself is a stupid concept. but it was set there for a specific certain purpose. A purpose was to, of course, and everyone knows this, is to separate yourself from the mass, to put yourself in a sort of pedestal, etc., and look down upon everyone else as indigenous to, as being barbaric, etc. That's where actually barbaric comes from. Barbaric, actually, the etymology of barbaric itself means foreigner, or something that is foreign. That is actually what the word means. If you break it down, go down all the way back to the Greek translation of what barbaros was, that was actually just foreigners. Then Latin came and called it barbar, and now all of a sudden we call it barbaric. So anything that was different from from the Western thoughts were looked upon as barbaric.
Why? Why does this term emerge?
Why is the question? Yes, why?
It has like very little life before that, and then all of a sudden in the 1960s and 1970s, I see here's an appearance of it in communism in the Soviet Union. In sub-Saharan Africa is one of the earliest ones that I'm finding and marketing. So that divide seems to be one that has to do with economic policies and what they're viewing as economies in the modern state. It's all about development. So I think when people ask about this stuff, what they're really trying to ask, and they don't want to ask the question, so they use this phrase sub-Saharan, is, are Egyptians white like us? And they don't want to say that, because if they say things like that, then, because what happens when you sort of subsume whiteness for the entirety of North Africa, right? You want to claim the ancient civilization without modern Islam being attached to it. And then you want to separate it from blackness. That's the only reason why people use this term. There's no genetic distinction to be made here. There is no political distinction to be made here in antiquity, or in even clearly up until the modern world. If people aren't using the word, they're not making a distinction about it until they want to use it. All of Africa was a colonial playground until a certain period, and then we're going to make a distinction between the oil-rich Arab states and the mineral-rich and other resource-rich exploitable states below the Sahara that are not oil-rich states, right? Agricultural versus other. So I think anybody asking the questions about sub-Saharan and how these ideas apply to the ancient world need to stop, because they are clearly, absolutely modern impositions of ideas and ideology, and very clearly they are very recent modern impositions. And whenever people say that they want to avoid imposing modern ideologies onto ancient world, they're okay with imposing modern ideologies onto the ancient world as long as it's their modern ideologies, like the category of sub-Saharan.
Thank you. So that's what I wanted to just get out there. Thank you so much, Dr. Kennedy, for your views there. I think a lot of people will appreciate what the woman just said. She's a doctor on, I think it was anthropology, etc. Yeah, so we went through what Herodotus himself saw sub-Sahara. So he didn't see Africa as being separate. There was no such thing as North Africa, East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. Those names are just new names used to further, push the agenda of, we are sub these people in the north. We are sub people from, white, skin color or whatever, which is just, a strategic move that happened even before the colonization itself. So it was like a rolling stone rolling down a hill before the stone, gets momentum. They had to, they had to fabricate certain things. They have to fabricate history. They had to fabricate, these things, and give those terms to specific people like us, or people from sub-Saharan Africa, to then let the bowl roll that much, or the stone roll that much, that nobody can actually stop it. And that was what was happened. Nobody can and nobody could stop them from colonizing us, or colonizing Africa. So that's what I wanted to bring in there, so that people can, understand, um, these bogus historical aspects that people have had, and people have on Africa and Africans, and stop these things, because it's all fabricated. We already know that now. So talking about, different types of different types of science that we were very great on, and very, very, very long. We were very, very great in these different science, like math, astronomy, um, you know, um, tool building, architecture, engineering, medicine, navigation. We can go further. Let's just start with these ones. Math, okay, surely only a few of us know that many modern high school level concepts of mathematics first were developed in Africa, as was even the first method of counting more than 35,000 years ago. Egyptians scripted textbooks about math that included division and multiplication and fractions and geometric formulas to calculate areas and volumes of shapes. Distance and angles were also calculated using algebra. So algebra is very old. It's a very old concept. Came out of Africa as well. Algebraic equations were solved, and mathematically based predictions were made of the size of floods of the Nile. You understand how big that was, mathematics in this society. The ancient Egyptians also considered a circle to have 360 degrees. So the Egyptians, they already knew that we had a circle that was 360 degrees, and they also estimated, I think, pi already for 3.16. Which I don't know if it's the correct, but I think it can be with all the decimals being there. 8,000 years ago, people in present-day Zaire also developed their own numeric system, as did the Yoruba people in Nigeria, and also other tribes in sub-Saharan Africa, or in Africa. It was based on units of 20 instead of 10, and required an impressive amount of subtraction to identify the different numbers. Scholars had lauded this system as it required much abstract reasoning. We also go back to another science, astronomy. Several ancient African cultures discovers in astronomy. So they discovered these things when it comes to, looking at the sky, looking at stars, and then came up with a system called astronomy. Many of these are foundations on which we still rely on, and some were so advanced that their mode of discovery still cannot be understood. Egyptians charted the movement of the sun and constellations and the cycles of the moon. They also divided the year into 12 parts and developed a year-long calendar system containing 365 and 1/4 of a day. Clocks were also made with moving water, and sundials like clocks were also used. The structure known as an African Stonehenge in present-day Kenya, constructed around 300 BC, was a remarkable accurate calendar. Many of the discoveries were also so advanced that some modern scholars credit their discoveries instead to space aliens or unknown European travelers. You see? So instead of, just understanding that Africa had all of these things, they had to manipulate the whole concept of our historical achievements. So many tribes also, found or knew the Saturn rings, Jupiter's moons, and spiral structures of the Milky Way and the orbit of the Sirius star system hundreds of years before anyone even knew. I mean, hundreds of years BC. They plotted orbits in the system accurately through the year 1990. Wow. So they plotted an orbit the system accurately through the year 1990. From that time, they also knew the system that contained a primary star and a secondary star, Sirius B, of immense density and not visible to the naked eye. Many also, they have tools, many advanced tools making were also made across the entity of ancient Africa. These includes STEM engineers, or even engines, metals, saws, copper and iron tools and weapons, nails, glue, carbon, steel, bronze weapons, etc. Architecture and engineering. Various past African societies created sophisticated built environments. Of course, there are the engineering feats of the Egyptians and baffling raised obelisks and more than 80 pyramids. The largest of the pyramids cover 13 acres and is made of 2.25 million blocks of stone. Later in the 12th century and much further south, there were also hundreds of great cities in Zimbabwe and Mozambique as well. Monomotapa. There are also a massive stone complex where the hubs of cities, one included a 250-meter long, 15,000-ton curved granite wall. The city features also huge castle-like compounds with numerous rooms for specific tasks, such as iron smithing. In the 12th or 13th century, the Empire of Mali boasted impressive cities and also including Timbuktu, with grand palaces, mosques, and universities across Africa. Medicine also. So medicine, many treatments we also use today were employed by several ancient people throughout Africa. before the European invasion of Africa, medicine in what is now Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, to name just a few places, were more advanced than medicine in Europe. Some of these practices were also used of plants which salicylic acid for pain, as in aspirin. So you can also get, some of the compounds within aspirin comes from plants or roots like turmeric, etc. Kaolin for diarrhea, and also an extract that were confirmed in the 20th century to kill gram-positive bacteria. Other plants used as anti-cancer properties cause absorption and treatment of malaria. And also these have been shown to be effective as many modern day Western treatments. Furthermore, Africans discovered, capsicum and reserpine, medical procedures performed in ancient Africa before they were any performed medical procedures in Europe, including vaccination, autopsy, limb traction, and broken bone setting, bullet removal, brain surgery, skin grafting, filling of dental cavities, installation of false teeth, dental practices, what is now known as cesarean section also, and tissue rejuvenation. In addition, African cultures perform surgeries under antiseptic conditions universally, when this concept was only emerging in Europe. Navigation as well. Most of us learned that Europeans were the first to sail to the Americas. However, several lines of evidence suggest that ancient Africans sailed to the South America and also Asia hundreds of years before Europeans did, or anyone else. Thousands of miles of waterways across Africa were trade routes. If you guys want to look up something, go and check out the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, if you guys want to know more about that ancient route. Many ancient societies in Africa built a variety of boats, including small reed-based vessels, sailboats, and grander structures, with many cabins and even cooking facilities. The Mali and Songhai built boats hundreds feet long and also 13 feet wide that would carry up to 80 tons. Currents in the Atlantic Ocean flow from the parts of West Africa to South America. Genetic evidence from plants and descriptions and arts from societies inhabiting South America at that time suggests small numbers of West Africans sailed to the eastern coast of South America and remained there. Contemporary science have reconstructed these ancient vessels and their fishing gears and have completed their transatlantic voyage successfully. Around the same time as they were sailing to South America in the 13th century, these ancient people also sailed to China and back, carrying elephants and cargo. People of African descent also come from ancient, rich, and elaborate cultures. That's one thing people need to understand, that created wealth of technologies in many areas. Hopefully, over time, there will be more studies in these areas, and more people will know of these great achievements. This article was written by no other than Sudela Bloch from Stevenson University. And yeah, I think that's enough of me talking, and also enough of this show. I think we have summed up many of the points that we have had discussed today, and I hope this has brought you some more education and knowledge on certain aspects of African history, ancient history, and also certain things that can actually propel our continent into becoming the continent that we deserve, that Africa deserves to be, as they are the founders of all of these, magnificent technologies and educational, institutions, even before there were even before there were even universities and institutions in Europe and in the West. So there's a contribution that Africa has given to the world that has been neglected. And that's something we need to stop with. We need to start understanding these things. We need to help ourselves to bring up that focus on, building our nations, building our African continent, and also propel the educational systems in Africa with the help of foreign direct investments coming from us as a diaspora to build these institutions. I have major plans on building institutions in Africa. I will disclose them later on whenever it is fruitful to do so. And also, like I said, in the actual box where I have notes, I have put in some links. There's a link there for the Discord server. There's the new link. There's going to be up for 7 days. If you like to, please go in, join Discord server, be a part of the Discord family. And a link is up there on the screen as well if you guys missed it. Yeah, so become a member of our Discord family. There's a lot of things that are going to come in the soon future. But like I said to all of you, we have a lot of different sections that will teach people about our ancient past and also future. We have, things talking about communication for the nation. So we're speaking about speaking your mind, African debates, African literature, world debate, political science. There's a friend of mine, he's called Kale here. He's going to come maybe on next show or in other shows in the future. He is the one that is holding that room called political science. If you guys want to come in and join Discord server, do that, please. If you guys like the show as well that I have every Friday, please like and subscribe to the channel as well so you can get updates, news updates from Africa and from the world. And also let you guys be a part of that great change that I want to, want us to be a part of. So I have a channel there. I have a channel in Twitter as well. I have a channel on Facebook as well. If you guys want to go in there and check those out as well. And we also have a lot of different other channels within Discord server, speaking about prehistoric artifacts, African connection, African love matters. We're speaking about African love. These are very important things. We have Pan-Africanism. We have African lingua, where we have a book up that is speaking about Swahili, the complete course for beginners. So if you guys want to learn Swahili as well, you can go into that African Lingua channel and yeah, just press and download the book and start learning Swahili, because we know that Swahili is a very popular language. Around 200 million people in Africa is estimated to use this lingua. So there's a lot of people. That's more than 20% of the African continent population that speak Swahili. So if you speak Swahili and you learn to speak Swahili, or if you know how to speak Swahili, you can speak with a lot of people in the continent directly. So props for that. We also have ethnicity discussion. So we have a board for Somali people. We have a board for Ethiopians, Eritreans. We have a board for West Africans, Senegalese, Gambians. We have Nigerians. We have for the South African diasporas. We have that channel there for them as well. We have from the East as well, or the Southeast, which is Tanzania, Kenya, etc. We also have a music section for African music. So if you are a person that is very good at doing African music, you can come to the channel as well, to the Discord server, and put that thing into the channel of African music so that people can acknowledge your specific music. We have investments. Speaking about investments as well, we have African investments. We have we're speaking about earthworks as well. So why I'm speaking about earthworks is because there's a lot of things that we need to start doing in Africa to provide a foundation for investments in agriculture, etc. So we need to stop deforestation and stuff like that. So to counter that, we need to build sustainable earthworks. And I have some clips there speaking about earthworks and it's just different technologies, speaking about live carbon neutral or live carbon neutral. We have 5 most epic earth healing projects that is based in different parts of the world. We also have a news section where we speak about African news and world news around the world. We also have an African tech and IT school section where we have computer tech as well. So there's a channel there for computer tech. If you like, computers and stuff like that, you can go in there and start doing things there as well. Put up some, information about computer tech. I have already done some, research on computer tech, etc. We also have a last channel there called New Africa, and the Vision for Africa. So in that section there, we have we have small topics, video, clips, footages on African achievements, African vision. We look at the picture of the AU summit displays of the pictures of the different Pan-African leaders that formed the African Union, and and a lot more. So if you guys are more interested into understanding the project, what I want to do, we also have a power group. If you want to be a part of that, you can also be a part of that. It's a select group of people that I put into a power group where we come together and we are forming ideas for Africa and for African diaspora to come together and build these institutions that we want to build together. I want to say, I think I've gone a little bit over time today. Yes, I have. But I want to say thank you for everyone that has been tuning in. And thank you for everyone that are, a part of the Discord server that we have, a part of the Twitter that we have as well. We are tweeting a lot. And we got a lot of retweets from some of the clips that I put up there on Twitter. So a lot of people joining that that section of social media. And yeah, you will see a lot more coming from yeah, um, this channel here, Open Basket. I want to say thank you everyone that joined us today at Open Basket episode 16. For the next episode, there's going to be a lot more deep diving into certain other fields in Africa that we need to focus on, especially the traditional system, the traditional economical system that needs to have, you know, total renovation in the way that you know we deal with traditional economies and integrate that into a little bit the new type of economies, the global economy that we have today, to make it more self-sustainable and long-lasting. Yeah, that's what we will discuss at next. I want to say thank you again, and if you can, hit the like button and the subscription button as well, and be a part of N1P podcast, the Faculty One or Open Basket. Thank you so much for this. Open baskets, close baskets. Peace and love.